Welcome back to the KIMI KATO show with Jeremiah. We have a wonderful guest today, Rob Kelso from Creativeman Productions. Creativeman Productions is a Japanese concert promoter that organizes one of the biggest music festivals in Japan called Summer Sonic. We just went out with Never Gonna Give You Up live at Summer Sonic 2017 by Rick Astley and the Foo Fighters, and just came back with One More Time, one of my favorite songs. One More Time live at Summer Sonic by Daft Punk. So Rob, welcome back.
Thank you.
Never Gonna Give You Up. It was a massive song in 1987. It was
Yes.
apparently it was number one. And I actually I was at that time teenager. Number one in 25 countries, apparently,
Yep.
including the US and Japan. The song topped the Japanese Oricon International Single Chart for several weeks in 1987. The song won 1988 Brit Award for Best British Single that year. Now, I have no idea how the Foo Fighters got together with Rick Astley. How did that collaboration happen? Because I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl mentions that they met each other 2 minutes before they got on stage.
Yeah, I don't think
What
it
was
is
that all
even that
about?
long.
Oh,
Um,
what was that all about? How did that
uh,
happen?
well, the Foo Fighters had used the song to dispel some protesters many years before, and they were big fans. And then Rick was playing the festival and got word to his team that they wanted him to come on stage, and he was a little bit late. And if you watch the video, they are meeting him 30 seconds, 40 seconds right before he goes out on stage. They had never met him. They just bonded immediately and did it. It was great. They did it again at Glastonbury a couple years later too.
Did
Um,
they? So, well, how did it happen though? Like, was it was it that Dave Grohl asked Rick Astley to come on stage, come to Japan, or was Rick Astley already performing at Summer Sonic
he
that
was
year?
he was already playing Summer
Right,
Sonic
right.
at
Okay,
a
so he
different
was
stage.
right. So he was there, and
He was there.
they were performing, happened to be performing on the same day. This is what I love about
Yeah.
festivals, and when bands, all these different kinds of bands, never really got together previously, but they happened to get together that day.
Yeah.
And who says what? Dave Grohl says, "Hey, Rick, do you want to come on my stage?" Was that the
Yeah.
case?
Basically said, come out on the stage, and that's what happened. It was amazing. And then Rick actually covered Everlong the
Mm-hmm.
next night at his
Mm.
solo show in Tokyo, which was kind of
Oh,
amazing too.
amazing. That's nice. That's nice of him.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Do you remember that song, Jeremiah? Obviously.
I do. That was like prom for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was
Yep.
a
I do
young
remember that.
teenager. Okay. And then we just played One More Time live at Summer Sonic 2006, early days for Summer Sonic. You want to talk about
Yep.
that as well?
The funny story I remember about that particular performance was that there were so many computers on
Oh,
stage that we had to keep the air conditioning running all night just to keep the computers cold enough to prevent them from dying
wow.
during the show. And I just remember like this is the only room that's really cold like all the time.
And it was a
That's a
ma
whole new problem.
Yeah.
yeah, that was massive hall, wasn't it? It was a convention center.
Yeah, it's in Makari Messe.
Damn. And trying to keep that place cold must have been very expensive.
Yes, it must have been.
Must have the electricity bill for that year is just
Yeah, I hope
skyrocketed.
hope that didn't come out of your end.
Okay, let's quickly talk about Summer Sonic then. You came up with the name Summer Sonic. How did that happen?
I did. I was unfortunate. I
That's
we had
crazy.
done the Beautiful Monsters tour in '99, and the president said, "I think we need a different name. We need something more catchy."
As a
And he
President
really liked
Naoki.
Nokia. Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he really liked this festival in Australia called Somersault. And
Somersault.
Somersault.
Oh,
Right.
somersault. Okay, somersault. Yeah.
Right. But as you know, in Japanese, that's a little bit hard to translate because it means two things. It means somersault, like a gymnasium
Yeah, somersault.
somersault.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then it also means summer assault. So,
Right. Okay.
so he wanted
That looks
something that
sounds
had
aggressive.
a dual meaning to it without being super obvious. So I sat down and wrote out all the summer names. I wrote
Possibilities.
down
Summer.
all the music names and came to this one. And he said, "Yep, that's it," in minutes. Like we probably named it in 10 or 15 minutes. It was super fast. But then people made fun of it for years.
Oh.
Um, because it was always like a Sonic the Hedgehog thing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but then it evolved in Japanese, as you know, because it's never Summer Sonic. It's always Summer Sony.
Summer Sonic. Yeah, for
Summer
sure.
Sony.
Summer
Right.
Sonic.
So it kind of became a compound, shorter word in Japanese, which is still fine.
I think it's fun. It's just, it's stuck to everyone's name, everyone in Japan. I think everybody knows Summer Sonic, Summer
Yeah.
Sony in Japanese
Yeah.
for short. Um, so I guess year 2000 at the Fuji-Q Highland, I can't, I can't remember if I went 2 years over there, but yeah, you guys organized it for 2 years. My highlight that very first Summer Sonic was James Brown, I must
Yep.
say.
Yep.
James Brown performed at Summer Sonic.
He did.
Great, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, and then any other memorable incidents that you have in bringing or building together with your team, with the whole Creative Man people, um, to
Yeah, I
build
think
Creative
that
Man to what it is now. I mean, what it hosts over 200,000 people, something
right.
like
So
that, over the
it's
weekends.
it's takes place in Tokyo and Osaka simultaneously. Uh, so all the bands that play Saturday Tokyo play Osaka Sunday, and all the bands that play Osaka Saturday play Tokyo on Sunday. So it's a huge logistics mess to swap cities. There's another festival in the UK called Reading and Leeds, which we use the same system that they use. They swap cities as well. Um, uh, so yes, there's been giant lightning storms that have prevented people from getting to point B and stuff like that. Those are all, travel nightmare stuff that happens, but you get through it, you know.
Because I remember, it wasn't as big. Obviously, it wasn't as big in one of the first few festivals, but then it grew and grew and grew with more
Yeah,
stages and more stages. You're expanding into the Makari Messe, or I can't remember which was first, but then you guys moved to Marine Stadium and
yeah.
Makari Messe, that kind of thing. The convention center and the stadium. What was that turning point where you knew that this was going to become the most important international music festival in the world, or one of, anyways?
That's very nice of you to say. I'm still not convinced that that have a turning point. Um, it's it's a massive festival and it's a great amount of energy, but the vibe is like no other festival in the world. If you've been to any other festival in any other part of the world, you'll be uh super shocked at how safe and calm and clean Summer Sonic is compared to pretty much anything else.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I know that. Okay.
Sounds like there's a story there, Kimmy. What does that mean?
Oh well, I talked about festivals on our last show, and I talked about Reading Festival, and growing up as a teenager, it was just you're getting dirty, smelly. You don't, it's just muddy. It's the whole works of being
Not
the
at
most
Summer Sonic, though.
dirtiest person ever that you can get in a weekend, right? And then there's Summer Sonic where you can be as clean as you can, even though it's hottest time of the year. You're steaming hot with sweat, but still, it is nice and clean. The bathrooms are clean. It helps.
That's appealing. I like that. That's appealing to me that it's clean. I mean, I don't like the dirt.
Yeah, and
I'm too old for that.
So the
Yeah.
good thing about Summer Sonic, or is one of the good things about Summer Sonic is it's held in the city, right? So it's right by Tokyo. The city of Tokyo is right next to it. So it's very accessible from Tokyo. If you're visiting Tokyo, you can just take a train ride or get a car. But because it's held in the city, you're less exposed to dirt, and that helps. Even though you have the beach stage, it's still well organized, and because it's mostly stadium and convention center, you don't have to get dirty, and then it doesn't rain as much during that time, so you're not muddy like like at Reading Festival. But yeah, I know that and again, working on I was working on at Summer Sonic every year until I left Japan. Every year I would have artists that I've been working on who would be performing at Summer Sonic. I would make sure that my marketing plan included Summer Sonic, so there were always artists performing at Summer Sonic. And you know, we definitely had broken many artists through that event and the headline tours that came after. But I think we should take another quick break. Can you introduce another song for our listeners, please?
This is Kill This Love by Blackpink, live Summer Sonic 2019.
Great. Here we go. Kill This Love, live at Summer Sonic 2019 by Blackpink. You're listening to the KIMI KATO Show. Don't go away as we dive into the world of Summer Sonic, the music festival in Japan, with our guest, Rob Kelso.